In the next video, we actually going to learn about the bring up lineage a52q.mk and then rising a52q.mk. We want to understand the reason why it is lineage, the reason why it is rising, and then we are going to wrap up here. So please make sure you subscribe. Don't forget, you know that already. It's all I need.
Interesting. Guys, that was 9 months ago that I didn't update the series, and I'm sorry for not updating the series for such a long time. I was working on a lot of projects that I'll be sharing with you guys very soon on the internet. So the past version of me said we should work with bring up methods. What's bring up? Bring up simply means changing device tree from its original form to another. So it's more like changing device tree from lineage to AOSP, from AOSP to something like infinity or depth first custom ROM. So that's simply what bring up means. Changing device tree from its original form to another. You could download the device tree in lineage form, right? And then you like to change it to AOSP form, okay? Or you could download the device in AOSP and you like to change it to depth first form. That's simply how bring up mean. Okay, so when they say bring up, it simply means changing device tree from original form to another. You guys get it, right? So here we mostly use lineage version because it is well maintained and it is also very good updated, okay, than other methods. There are depth first device trees or even AOSP device trees, but lineage OS method is lineage OS device tree is well maintained, so that's what we mostly use. Okay, so here we are going to download the lineage OS device tree quickly. So I have project Infinity X synced already that we'll be using as a demonstration for bringing up device trees, which I haven't synced already. I have my commands here, so I'll copy the commands and then clone them. So guys, after cloning the device trees, I will unpause the video. Also guys, this is a new server given to me by my friend. Shout out to him. Thanks a lot for giving me access to this server. And also I have a poor internet, so it's not fast. Like you can see how it's behaving, so we will manage it like that, which is also good. So the device tree has been cloned successfully, but the kernel tree hasn't been cloned because the branch 15 cannot be found. For that reason, we will sync from the original lineage. We'll clone from the original lineage source. So let me quickly type that. Also, I am working on a device tree for the new phone that I've got, which is Samsung Galaxy A54 5G. And well, it's going quite well. And I'll be making videos on how to do device trees as well when the device tree I'm making for the A54 goes successful. So you should be expecting device trees videos soon after the AOSP compile method. Coded trace has been synced successfully and we have depleted 3 minutes already, which I don't like. Time is going so fast. So in the project Infinity X, you can see I have my device tree synced, cloned in lineage form. You can see it has lineage underscore a52q.mk. That means this device tree is lineage tree. So whenever you see this, any device code name .mk here is what is the main bring up method that you have synced from. So I synced the device tree from lineage, and here I have lineage underscore a52q.mk, and this Infinity X project Infinity X, it bring up method here is infinity. So if you come to the vendor folder, you check the bring up method by going through the vendor folder. You see infinity. If you check here, there is no AOSP here, or there is no lineage here. There is just infinity. That means that our bring up name is going to be infinity, meaning we are going to change the lineage that we saw here. Let's go back here. The lineage we saw in my device tree here to infinity. You guys get it? Another way to determine a device tree or the bring up name is checking official devices. So you could be like project infinity X, and then yeah, and then you can go to the directory. We can go to any of these device tree here. I just clicked on Xaremi device, code name Sky. You could see that the Sky here, it's infinity underscore sky dot mk. That means we are using what infinity as our bring up name. You guys get it, right? Yeah. So let me quickly close this window and let me go back to our device tree. So yeah, that's simply it. We are about to start doing our bring up. So I'm going to use the F2 key and then change this name lineage here to infinity. And then I'll copy this infinity and go into the infinity a52q.mk, and then scroll down. You see the product name, change it to infinity a52q.mk, and then under inherit common vendor stuff, common lineage stuff, also change it to infinity. So you see this one is pointing towards vendor infinity, and then config, and then common foo.mk, which is what we saw here at the top here when we went to the vendor folder. You can see there's what infinity here. So that's simply what that line means. So actually, this is not a device tree making video, so I'm not supposed to be doing those explanations. So yeah, we have changed this and this. We don't have any other lineage to change. So let me save this file, the infinity underscore a52q.mk. Let's go back into our device tree and open Android product, which is very important. You see there's a lot of lineage here. I want to go to the find and replace, and then type lineage here, and then let me come to this place, paste infinity here, and then click on replace all, and it has replaced all the lineages to infinities. So let me save this one also. And then there's one last thing. Open the board config.mk. You see there's vendor and then lineage dash a52q underscore dev config. This is pointing to the kernel dev config. You don't have to touch this if you have synced from lineage or any other source. If it's any other source and your device tree is from lineage, you have to change the dev config. So let me show you where the dev config is located so you would know which name to use for it. So let's go into the kernel tree that I synced. So kernel is here, and then we go into Samsung, we go into SM7205, then you go into Arch, go to ARM64, and then configs, then vendor, and then you are going to see lineage dash a52q underscore dev config. So yeah, it means what we have here, what we have in our device tree, it's valid. In our board config.mk, it's valid. So you don't have to change anything in the board config.mk. Okay, so when you check the dev config and it's different, you can change it to that name that you saw in the dev config. Open the common tree and open the board config common.mk, and then scroll down. You are going to see another lineage. Actually, the best practice, right, is to search, do the find. So you do Control F and search for lineage. You see, the main reason why I don't like doing that is, look at this. Oh man. So it's two found. This is the other one, you see. So this is also in the vendor, change it to infinity. So you open board config command.mk, change that one to also infinity, and you don't have to touch anything in the vendor folder or in the kernel folder. Okay, if you are doing bring up, all you have to do, change stuff in the device trees so that it links to the other methods, other device tree methods. So if you check, we only changed few things here. We changed stuff in the board config, but we didn't change anything in the board config here. We only changed the kernel config, and then in the board config common, we only change the path to the device framework matrix. So that's it. You have done your dev config. You have done your bring up. Okay. Also, I think there's one thing we didn't do, which is changing the lineage dependencies. So I'm sorry, let's change the lineage dependency to infinity here. Okay. And then also there's one mistake I made in the hardware tree, which you shouldn't do. In the NFC here have to be in the Samsung folder. And if you are compiling AOSP based trees, if you are compiling AOSP based ROM, you get an error for advanced display and the Samsung DOS, which is a common error when you are compiling for AOSP. When you are compiling AOSP based ROMs for Samsung A52. So I'm going to delete this, or let me just leave it so that you guys will see how the error will look like in the end. So here we are to execute the build environment with this command dot build /env setup.sh. So this is going to load our environment to make sure everything is intact. Very good. So we are going to launch. So you just type the launch, okay, and then come back here and then come to Android product, and then you can copy any of these ones. So launch this, okay, you can either type it or copy it. So I'm trying to use build for user debug for now. In the next series, I will explain the user debug stuff and then the user and eng build. Oh man. So let me just type the user debug already. Let me hit enter. So I think it will be best when I explain the user debug and eng. Yeah, so it's able to load the device trees and everything. Here it's able to see the bring up we made. So let's go here. You see that it's seeing the product, the target product here as infinity underscore a52q.mk. You get it? So yeah, it works. That's it. So wait, let me explain the user debug eng and user. So let's open the product again. So the user debug here, right, simply means that you are building for a developer. Okay, if you are building a ROM for a developer would like to debug, like use the adb command stuff, adb root, adb shell and stuff like that, and it works. Okay, so it's more like you have a slight debug access to the ROM. So that's simply it. And the user is like more like a final release. Everything is stable. You don't want users to get root access mostly, even though they can root the phone, like they can root with matches, but it's more like not for developers, it's for just an end user. Just an end user, meaning that user is not going to use adb command or stuff. The user is just a normal user, just watch TikTok and make phone calls, chat people on WhatsApp. That person is not a developer, like app developer, to be using all those commands. And eng builds are for early stages of development. So you are developing a ROM or something like that, you would like to build with ENG build mostly to see all the logs, everything. You have access to everything. It's more like a root level stuff. Okay, that's simply how to explain. And for custom ROM developers, we usually use user debug. If you are not a custom ROM developer, most of the times you would like to use user. Okay, but the best practice for a custom ROM developer is to use user debug. So if anything is wrong, like Wi-Fi doesn't work, Bluetooth doesn't work, or there's a lag, or there's not the ROM is not optimized, and you want to debug anything, use a user debug build. It's okay to use user debug build. Okay, but if you trust your device tree, everything works for you, build a user build. It also helps with battery life and stuff. So let's quickly make beacon to start the compilation process. So if you wonder the commands, right, you get these commands on the device tree, the custom ROM official GitHub page. So let's go into Project Infinity X. Okay. So if you go into the ROM page, go to the manifest page, which you mostly find when you go visit the GitHub/the ROM page. Sorry guys, my internet got finished. I just bought a new one, so let me quickly connect to the ROM. Yeah, so when you get to the Project Infinity X page here, you see a manifest on the page. So I want to go back to that page. Here is a manifest, or you even see it here. I talked about this in the previous tutorials, so you can check them out. So here, I taught you building flags also, so you know what to do here, the building flags. And then these are the build commands. So this is the command I initiated to set up environment, and this is the command that we use to launch device conf, and then these are the command you use to compile the whole custom ROM. So here the compilation process spitted out an error, which the error is pointing out to the advanced display and the Samsung DOS, like I said. And mostly when you get an error, right, don't look at the field a lot, right? Target these errors, target the error codes, or I mean target what is causing the error instead of putting your focus on the field, because you wouldn't understand it. So let's go to the hardware tree again and delete this and this, and let's go back and do compile again. You don't have to run this, you don't have to run the build environment, you don't have to run launch. Just go ahead and compile after fixing the error. So let's wait and see what we are going to see. So guys, you can see that the compilation process is working without any error. But the next video, we are going to learn certain things we should do before compiling a ROM. Okay, things like verifying the ROM so that you can pass play attestation, like signing it. If you sign it, it verifies play integrity, so you can be able to pass the play integrity attestation. You can download bank applications and some of the sensitive apps that require the those kind of signed platforms. So in the next video, that's all we are going to do. See you in the next one. You know what to do. Click on that subscribe button if you are new.